Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today we're going to be talking about the 2024 film Longlegs and its brand new 4K Blu Ray that just came out. And before we talk about that 4K Blu Ray, I always like to give a quick film review, and today is no different. So if you want to know nothing about Longlegs, because this review is going to be filled with spoilers, because I did a non-spoiler review earlier this year when this movie came out in theaters. So if you want to know nothing about Longlegs, please make sure you guys skip ahead to that 4K Blu Ray review right now. So Longlegs was directed by Osgood Perkins, the son of the legendary Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in Psycho, so pretty famous son of a pretty famous actor. And this movie, when it came out earlier this year, was a box office sensation. It had only a $10 million budget and ended up making $100 million plus at the box office, and it became the highest grossing film for Neon Films. And that's pretty damn surprising, because this movie was not on my radar at all. But then when people started reviewing it and talking about it, they said it's one of the scariest films of the year. So I tried to taper my expectations when I went and saw this one in theaters, because I didn't expect it to be the scariest movie that I've ever seen, but that's kind of how the marketing goes for these types of movies. You want to get asses in the seats. You say, hey, this movie is scary as shit. It features Nicolas Cage in it, and Nicolas Cage does play Longlegs in this movie, but he's not the star of this movie. This movie stars Micah Monroe as a young FBI agent, and this is kind of what led a lot of people to compare this movie, including Oz Perkins. So he said it himself that this movie is in the same vein as The Silence of the Lambs and Seven. You know, you get a young, hotshot FBI agent in here to investigate a serial killer who's just right now in the middle of a killing spree. Unfortunately for her, the Longlegs serial killings have been going on for over 30 years. 10 killings in 30 years. But we don't know how he's doing it, because it seems like it's a typical murder-suicide. The father's killing the entire family, then killing himself. But the only evidence that it's not them is these letters left behind by somebody named Longlegs. Now, we know it's Nicolas Cage in this movie, but the trailers made sure to hide that from you, because Nicolas Cage in this movie just looks scary as shit. The makeup that he's wearing, how just white and pale he is. He looks paler than me, which is something that's not easy to do. And then his character itself is just so uncomfortable. He's wearing these like dirty clothes. Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, he goes all out for the performance. Let me in now, and it can be now. Make sure he gets under your skin. Of course, there's some overacting in there. The scene with him screaming in the car, "Mommy! Daddy!" That's just classic Nicolas Cage stuff. Daddy! Mommy! I love him for it. I love seeing him in this movie. He steals every single scene that he's in. But, you know, all the supporting characters around him do a fantastic job as well. Obviously, their performances are a little bit more toned back than Nicolas Cage's performance. But still, you get Blair Underwood and Alicia Witt along with Micah Monroe. And all of them do a great job in this movie. Alicia Witt really gets under your skin as well as the mother in this movie. And as the movie goes on and we have to uncover her secrets about what she's been hiding, because that's a big difference between movies like The Silence of the Lambs and Seven, is there is a more satanic cult twist to this movie, and also, you know, a lot of supernatural horror in this movie. So that's where it's kind of going to a different level, because, you know, obviously if you don't believe in that kind of religious horror stuff, you know, you're taking it a little bit out of the real world and adding this, you know, little bit of a different wrinkle than those other investigative films. And then, of course, Micah Monroe's character of Lee, she's got a lot more going on than we realize. We think she's just a regular old up-and-coming FBI agent. We know that she kind of has this sense about her where she's kind of part psychic. Like, early in the movie, we see that they gave her this test where she has to pick a number from 0 to 100. And apparently she hit it on 50% of the time. Nobody else can do that, so they want her on this case because she has these natural instincts to her. But of course, we find out as the movie progresses that she has a connection to Longlegs that we didn't even realize. And at the very beginning of this film, it was hinted at that it might be her, but, you know, you kind of forget about it. We just think it's another one of these victims. But it turns out she was a young child visited by Longlegs, and her mother made a deal with the devil, essentially, to where she's going to do the devil's bidding along with Longlegs. Longlegs, he's a creepy-ass doll maker. He makes the dolls. He puts like a metal ball in it, and that's got the essence of the devil in there. So when that doll gets into the house, he's able to make sure that these murders happen, and he's not the one doing it. But the person who brings this doll to the house is a woman dressed up like a nun, and that is Lee's mother, again played by Alicia Witt in this movie. And once that big reveal happens in the third act, I mean, it's scary, especially how she repeats the same lines that Nicolas Cage repeats.
Knock, knock on the farmhouse door. A nice lady with a
Knock, knock, knock on the farmhouse door.
Just, you know, giving that cult feeling to it, that supernatural horror feeling. And even when Longlegs gets captured and then eventually kills himself, all that stuff is just shocking as hell. And the movie itself just features some very scary imagery. So if you were to compare it to like The Silence of the Lambs or Seven, I think that this one is much more of a horror film than those ones are. Those are, I feel like, much more thrillers. I feel like this one is definitely operating in the horror genre. I do think it was a little bit over exaggerated with how scary it is, but this does have some scary imagery in it. It does make you feel uncomfortable, especially with the tone of this film. The tone of the film is really what's going to scare you. It's so atmospheric. It feels like a winter horror movie in the best way possible, taking place in the Pacific Northwest. The movie itself just looks absolutely beautiful. The score itself matches the film fantastically. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie much more my second time around, which is funny because I enjoyed this movie a lot the first time I watched this movie. And it actually is my favorite horror movie of 2024 so far. I actually had Maxine and Late Night with the Devil above this movie, but on rewatch and looking at the awesome foreshadowing in this movie, because they foreshadow how this movie is going to go pretty early on, but you don't catch it until the second time around. When they ask Lee if they think that there's an accomplice with Longlegs, well, we know the accomplice is her mother as the movie goes on. But at the very beginning of the movie, you don't consider that at all. Again, playing with your expectations with these types of movies, I really think that Oz Perkins was just doing so many different things, and somehow all of that stuff works so well, and that couldn't have been done without a great director. And Oz Perkins has proven himself today to be a fantastic director with this movie Longlegs, and it's a fantastic screenplay as well, and I can just highly recommend Longlegs if you haven't seen it. Obviously, I just spoiled the hell out of it, but if you're one of those people that don't mind spoilers and you want to check out my review anyway with the spoilers, I hope you really enjoyed it, because this is a fantastic 2024 horror film, and it's only going to go up and up for me. I don't know where this is going to rank at the end of 2024 for me as far as films overall go, but I thoroughly enjoy this movie. 2 times in so far in 2024, I am just blown away by this movie. I definitely sold it a little bit too short in my original review, but again, it's hard to go into a movie with certain expectations, but when you watch a movie in a bubble like I did for the second viewing, I just love this movie, and I would definitely recommend it. But let's talk a little bit about this 4K Blu-ray that just came out. Well, here it is, the 4K Blu-ray for Longlegs, released by Decal Releasing. Now, I've never actually heard of them before I got this 4K Blu-ray. I thought it was going to be distributed by Neon, but it's Decal Releasing. This movie features only HDR10. It does not feature Dolby Vision. It doesn't have a Dolby Atmos track on it. It has a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. It does have a pack-in Blu-ray as well. So if we come inside, you get a really nice slipcover on it, same artwork underneath. When you come inside, you get the Blu-ray and you get the 4K Blu-ray. Now, the extras are going to be both on your Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray, so I'm assuming if you buy the Blu-ray, it's the same exact Blu-ray that's packed in here. That's why you have the same exact extras on the 4K and on the Blu-ray. Now, the extras did not blow me away. There's a couple of interviews with the main actors in this movie, except for Nicolas Cage. He doesn't have an interview, but everybody else has an interview. So if you want to see an interview with Alicia Witt, Blair Underwood, the director Oz Perkins, or Micah Monroe, all those interviews are on here. Other than that, there's some little, featurettes where you can look at evidence for the cases in this movie, which is kind of fun to play around with, and the trailers, and then there's an audio commentary track with Oz Perkins as well. But that's it as far as the extras go, so it's pretty much bare bones. I did appreciate the interviews, but I obviously would have liked more, but you don't really expect that when it comes to brand new releases of the films when it comes out the year of release. So this is just something hey, let's get the movie out there. It's coming to 4K Blu-ray. It's not going to get the same boutique level treatment, and you can tell. So when you watch the Blu-ray is actually really good. But then when you go to that 4K Blu-ray, you're like, it's not really the biggest jump in the world. Now, the film itself is shot beautifully. I love what they're doing with the shifting aspect ratios. Where in the past, we're more in the 4:3. Then we shift into the regular old-fashioned widescreen. So they definitely put a lot of thought into the filmmaking. Now, this is the kind of movie that takes place in the 1990s. But when you watch the 4K Blu-ray, it still does feel like a modern 2024 horror film, despite the fact that they're doing certain things with the camera, like leaving the camera still, and, trying to make it feel like the 1990s. And they do capture that for the most part, but it's just the way that the film is shot that it still does feel like a modern horror film. Where, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but it does take place in the 1990s. So I would have liked a little bit more film grain put over it, even if it was just kind of a filter, just because I think it would have fit the film a little bit better. Because again, when you go from that Blu-ray to the 4K Blu-ray, you're not going to see the biggest jump in the world visually. Yes, the 4K Blu-ray is going to do a better job with the colors because it does have HDR10 on it. It's going to hit the deeper blacks just a little bit better, but it's not going to be something that you're going to be like, holy shit, I can't believe that jump in quality from Blu-ray to 4K, which is a little bit disappointing. But still, the visuals are really good. I never really noticed how warm this film was when I went and saw it in theaters. Just, you know, when I saw it in theaters, it wasn't the greatest theater overall. It didn't have the greatest projector. So the movie itself looked a little bit cooler to me in theaters, but I'm assuming that it was just because of the projector. So now when you watch the movie, it's much, much, much more warmer. A lot of yellow in this movie, and I think it works very well for the film overall, but I just wasn't blown away by this 4K Blu-ray. And it's not really necessarily the 4K Blu-ray's fault. It's just the film in general and modern technology, which does make it harder to justify buying this. Now, the audio, like I said, it's a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, not a Dolby Atmos track or anything like that, like a lot of people might have hoped for, which could be a little bit disappointing. But the DTS Master Audio 5.1 is really, really, really good. I was actually very surprised with how good it was. Again, the theater I originally saw it in wasn't the greatest theater, so this is the first time I really felt like I got to experience the audio mix, and it's a pretty damn good track. I really did appreciate it, especially in the third act. You really feel that bass like pumping and actually pulsating. I think it works really well for this film. It's very well mixed. Everything comes in crisp and clear, and you know, audio tracks, you know, when it comes to audio tracks, I feel like the horror genre really does benefit the best from them. I feel like they put the most heart and soul into these audio tracks because they know that certain horror movies like this feel very atmospheric, and they did a good job mixing it so that the audio track does give you that feeling while you're watching the movie, give you that horrific feeling. This movie tonally is very dark, and the audio track just matches that perfectly. But again, the price of this 4K Blu-ray originally was over $30. Right now, it's about $25, and that's probably okay. I would still say that this 4K Blu-ray is something that you should buy for about under $20 or at the $20 range, mainly because it's a bare bones 4K Blu-ray release. I imagine down the line, this is the kind of movie that gets the boutique label treatment, where we get interviews and a making of documentary, probably no time soon. Right now, this is the only way you'll probably be able to buy this 4K Blu-ray, and that's really understandable. This is just get it out there for the fans of the movie, or even for people who haven't seen the movie yet. Check it out on 4K Blu-ray, but it's really hard to justify if you've seen the movie already. This is why I don't really buy new releases that much when it comes to like movies released in 2024. It's the reason why I haven't picked up The Fall Guy yet, is because you're not going to get the biggest jump in quality from what you've seen in theaters. I used to be the person that used to say that movies made in the modern day, obviously using modern technology, they look the best on the 4K Blu-ray format, but I think the 4K Blu-ray format really helps best when it comes to older films and bringing them to 4K Blu-ray and really shining them up, making them look nice, and, you know, showing us what the director originally intended for these movies to look like. When it's a modern 2024 film, you know, when you get it on 4K Blu-ray, especially since they charge a higher price for that, it's really hard to justify picking it up on day one. Those are the kinds of movies I definitely recommend picking up at a sale, because they're gonna overcharge you for them, and they're really not gonna give you the same level of treatment that they do for their older catalog titles, and especially with boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, and Criterion would give you. You're just not gonna get that same level of quality, and that's really unfortunate. But looking at this 4K Blu-ray in a bubble, it doesn't really necessarily do anything wrong. The only issue is it's probably just too high priced, and that's really it. But what would I give the Longlegs 4K Blu-ray at a score of 1 to 10? I would still give it a very solid 8 out of 10. Now, guys, we got a couple of different giveaways to talk about today. First up is our usual digital code giveaway. In every single video that we do on Friday, we ask you guys 2 digital code giveaway questions. All you had to do is answer one in the comment section below. As long as you did that, you came back to this video right here. I put your name on a magic wheel, spun that bad boy 2 times, the 2 names it lands on, they have their choice of the digital codes that you've seen on your screen before you today. So let's spin this magic wheel and see who our lucky winners are. Alright, there you have it. SB Films and Mr. AV Nerd Congratulations to you guys. Rusty, it looks like it landed on you as well. So we'll say that there's 3 digital code giveaway winners this week. We'll say SB Films, Rusty, and Mr. AV Nerd. Congratulations to you guys. You reach out to me at my email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com, or you can always reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Let me know which of the digital codes you want. As long as the other winner didn't take it, that digital code is all yours. And guys, we're also doing our Blu Ray physical media giveaway. Well, I'm calling this, the Blu Ray care package giveaway. So all the movies you guys saw on Friday's video, you guys will win them all if you win this giveaway right here. And I won't be mailing this out until this upcoming Monday, so 6 days from today. I work every day when the post office is open, so there's no way for me to get there while I'm at work. So unfortunately, I have to wait till my day off, and next week it will be Monday. So anyway, let's spin this magic wheel and see who our winner is.
Taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top and keep climbing. I wanna live it up.
All right, congratulations, Wahoo 120. You've been a long-time supporter of this channel, so you know how this works as well. Same thing as our digital code giveaway. Reach out to me at my email address, Facebook, Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter, whichever one. Just let me know where to mail this bad boy to. And thank you to everybody who entered into the giveaway. Really appreciate all of your support. We'll be doing the digital code giveaway this upcoming Friday like we do every single week, and we'll talk more about our members giveaway this Friday as well, and you guys can see what we'll be giving away to our channel members a week from today. And thank you guys all again for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you want to continue to support the channel, the best way to do that is by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to the channel, or, just getting out in those streets and telling your friends about us. That's a pretty big deal as well. We also have those channel memberships, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer like John Doe Juggalo and Jason Martin, or even a channel director like Mr. Smelly Potato and Frank from Frank's Media Reviews, you guys can do all that as well. Look for all that information in the description below. But if you got no money to throw away, guys, we don't mind at all. We just hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, well, we'll be seeing you guys around.